Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic I didn't mute my TV. Hold on a second. I was wondering where I was hearing sound from. For August 1st, we are in the month of August. Man, is this year flying by? It's crazy. Uh, well, first of all, holidays today. It's Campfire Day. It's Disc Golf Day, Mountain Climbing Day, Mustard Day, National Clown Day, National Girlfriend Day, Mahjong Day, Pinball Day, Raspberry Cream Pie Day, and Sandcastle Day. Those are all the first days of August holidays. Got a couple birthdays today. Former referee Mike Chioda, 60 today. Happy birthday, Mike Chioda. Devon Dudley, 54. Bunkhouse Buck, 76. That's old school. And Yoshi Tatsu is 49 today. Happy birthday to all those guys. Hey, interested in roller derby, want to be official, a skater, hang out, help out. Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment at gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. If you're into the men's team, it's Flower City Fear, FLOUR. We are the Flower City of Rochester, New York. And that's why we call it the Flower. Originally it was based upon flour mills along the Genesee River, but now we are more into flowers like, lilacs and stuff like that. So you definitely want to, that's flowercityfear.com. We're always looking for help running into the end of the season. And last weekend was a great Rock City Roller Derby at the Dome. I appreciate it. We have another one August 15th if you want to come out. I am your humble host, the Cashman. I'm joined by DC from NC. DC, how goes it today for you, sir?
Morning, Cash. It goes. I wore a special brand new shirt for the show today.
Let's see. Big meaty men slapping meat. All right. Beautiful. It fits in perfectly with us. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Thank you for being here, DC. And, Rob, of course, we talked last week at ESW was last night in at Riverworks in Buffalo, which is and so he's tied up with that. So it'll just be DC and I and try to get through as much as we can today. I've got generous offerings of things I want to talk about. Obviously, SummerSlam's this weekend. We want to talk about 2 days of SummerSlam. Still hurting for ticket sales because I saw they're still doing the $25 seats. So feel like hopping in a car and driving to Minneapolis and paying $25 a night. You could see 2 nights of WWE live event pay-per-views, PLEs going on. But we also want to talk about Redemption, some additions to the AEW roster this week, name changes for a NXT guy. I don't know, just something. It just came up. I mean, listen, I know you guys out there love Danhausen, but man, I think they're milking it for every penny they're getting. And if you watched Monday Night Raw last week, you probably saw the worst thing they did with them, which was pretty sad. And then AEW's been in Detroit this week, and we're going to talk about some of the things going on in Detroit. But first of all, I want to welcome DC and see, hey, DC, how's the weather down in NC?
Still hot and humid.
Hot and humid. Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. It's been a week here in Rochester, anywhere between 70 and 80 all week, pretty much cool. So it's been a
That
beautiful.
sounds perfect.
Yeah, it is. It's been like that. I mean, we're getting a little rain. We're going to get some rain on Sunday, but it really has been, nothing to complain about. Nice sunny days, not too hot. So, and it's August. Usually this is when, we're getting those peak heats too. So, who knows? I'm not going to make any theories about why. I just will enjoy it while we got it. So, but let's jump in. We got SummerSlam to talk about. I'll do that a little bit later. We'll run down that. But I want to talk about AEW Redemption this last weekend. AEW Redemption, the new pay-per-view that began this year, was in Montreal, and it was last Sunday, and it was, I mean, there was some title changes, which, you figure a month away from All In, maybe they would hold off. But some of these title, two of the title changes were for the better for building up All In, I would say. Uh, hey, Timmy says, hey, sunny days. Yes, yes. We can go back in time. You guys, a lot of young guys watch wrestling now have no idea what sunny days mean. And, even some guys who are older don't have no idea what Sunny D's mean, but I do. Good old Sunny, but in behind behind the bars now for Sunny. Sonny's kind of really a reason we got back into wrestling, because it's like my son, I'd been out of it for a while, and he started watching it when he was like 4 or 5 when I was at work. And then it's like I turn it on, and it's like not only was there great wrestling, but there's these hot chicks on it too. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll watch it. And then, Sonny was one of them, obviously. I took him to see them at the Blue Cross Arena, and it was the Body Donnas, and Sonny came out, and it was like they're in those skin tight freaking workout suits. I figured they'd be doing Taibo or something, or but it was like, wow, this girl is very, very hot. And it's like that's when WWE started to jump on uh the divas train, I guess, a little bit, having hot divas managing people. But I digress. I was just talking about so I was talking about AEW Redemption. So we had 2 title changes. We had our 3 title change. My World is now the TBS champion. We've got Andrade now is the
National champion.
national champion. And we've got Maya World, I'm sorry, and Willow Nightingale as she beat Tekla, which I'm sure if Rob was here, he would be definitely not happy with that, because we've said Tekla has been one of the best things going in AEW for a while. What do you think about the paper?
Well, I was just gonna say I'll take up that mantle, because any other day of the week I'd be 100% behind Willow winning. I
Yeah,
don't like that. Tekla has been carrying the women's division since Tony Storm went down, essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I know that supposedly this has been their plan all along for the match at All In to be Willow versus Mercedes.
yeah.
So I think maybe just the injury kind of threw a wrench in that a little bit. But yeah, I'm still happy for Willow, but no, I'm sorry. Tekla deserved better.
Yeah.
She deserved that spot at All In.
I agree as well. I agree as well. It was, and now what do you do with Tekla going into All In?
Right.
It's like you're less than a month away from your WrestleMania, and now you're probably the hottest thing in your company has kind of been put on the side, not carrying a title anymore.
She still has that Stardom title, but
That's true, and she has the trios, that Stardom trios title with the different colored belts, but totally not on TV at all this week. So it was like maybe Tekla's getting a break or something. 6 months of heavy duty pushing.
we at least get her back on commentary.
Yeah, please. You don't like the Big Show doing Collision?
Man, he was just every time they showed him on camera, you could tell he was just happy as hell to be there.
Yeah, he's like telling like dad jokes the whole time, or like little one liners. Uh, you know, it was okay. I like I mean I like maybe other announcers better, but they had to move them around a little bit. So we had those all fall out from Redemption. Those were, we also had the Osprey and the Moxley divorce, I guess you could say. Moxley's like, trying to take out Kenny Omega while you can, and he's not going to. They gave him the plastic bag. You might remember choking out Brian Danielson with that. I don't know, a year ago, probably. I don't know. It was a while
Than
ago.
that.
Yeah. So I think that it's building up that story as well. And now with the All In card is kind of falling into place a bit more, which is only one night, folks, in over in the UK at Wembley. So yeah, so sorry, I was communicating mentally. The All In, we've got we got the tag matches against each other, which I'm happy, that'll be good. Obviously, we thought that was happening anyways, but yeah, it's going to build up what's going on with, I think they're going to play like they hit, Mark Davis attacked, uh, 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 during, was it Collision that Mark Davis attacked,
He attacked Osprey after his
yeah,
match.
I was gonna say it was like Osprey was kind of walking around the ringside. By the way, Masonic Temple in Detroit is a famous arena that so many things happen in there. So it was really cool that they were in there. I was going to ask you a question, DC. Why do you think they held off on the Motor City Machine Guns till Collision?
The only thing I can think of that makes sense, I mean, there's two things. Maybe too much dealing with the fallout of All In for Dynamite, but then also you got to make Collision feel special sometimes.
Yeah.
So, being that they were in Detroit, as soon as they announced, oh, special, we're going to be live against Round Night, I'm like, oh, okay, that's when we're getting them.
Well, they drew great numbers for Thursday night. Obviously going head to head with TNA. And I mean I guess a victory over TNA is good, victory over NXT is good, but it's like I just think that it's hard to they're not doing it intentionally, even though TNA probably thinks they are running head to head against them intentionally, but they're also running recorded shows as well. I think next week's live, but they I was wondering too, because it's like, they're in Detroit 2 nights in the same place pretty much. And the first night was all the fallout on Dynamite from the pay-per-view. And then the second night was, okay, now we're going to advance things and everything. So now let me ask you a question. Also, there was some famous people who like were there for the event that did they bring Rhino on Dynamite at all? Because Rhino was there. I know Rhino came running out at the end with an open challenge. There was an open challenge, and Rhino came out, and it's like because it was like after obviously the cameras went off. But
Yeah.
it was like I went through and watched it again. It's like I don't remember Rhino being in there, but he was announced as he was going to be there, as well as Insane Clown Posse, which
Yep.
that was
Both were
before.
not on camera Wednesday, but they were Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's so I was gonna say, yeah, Insane Clown Posse was there. And
ICP and Rhino did the ice bucket challenge with the conglomeration.
yes, and then of course another thing I don't think we saw was Shark Boy. Shark Boy was there as well, promoting Shark Week, which is I believe coming up, and maybe that was just cut as a promo or something, but I don't remember seeing that either. Nevertheless, there was a lot of people.
David Arquette was in the audience too.
Yeah, there was a lot of famous people at these shows, and which is really cool. I like, I mean, WWE spends a lot of time showing famous people. I don't know who they are in the crowd a lot of times, At least I knew, like whenever they have like old wrestlers in the show in the crowd, at least they show. But one more thing I want to bring up about AEW Redemption. What did you think overall as a pay-per-view? What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Was it paced well?
It was just there. Definitely not one of their better ones. I'd say at best average. I don't think it would be a far shot to put it maybe in the bottom five of their all time. There was just a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, didn't flow well. Some of the matches were just entirely too clunky. Um, Honestly, I think the entire card was saved um, by a couple of things. I would say one, it was saved by Kyle Fletcher in Bandito, who just put on an absolute banger of a match. And then the title changes helped,
Yep.
spark some energy. But yeah, I don't know. Like that chain match was terrible.
Let me ask you, I did not see it. So was it two guys chained to two guys or
Yeah, it
was it?
was 2-2.
Okay. So I wonder how they figured that out. They just like, you and
It was
you.
a mess. The
Yeah.
the whole Painmaker Ciampa match went on far too long.
Yeah. I saw the drill come out. So it was like,
The flat drill.
yeah. Yeah. It's not, it would take a lot of effort to go into someone's skull with that. So, yeah. Yeah. And obviously it was enough to scare Champa though. It was like, oh, okay. Uh, You know, I give.
But honestly, like I can't pinpoint a match outside of the ones I mentioned. It
Like
was
I said,
just it was
there
just
was,
there.
there
Like the
was some,
matches were good. They were okay, but not a lot happened. Nothing jumped off the page really. It's not one that's going to be remembered. It's not one I'm ever going to go back and watch anything from.
Yeah, I was gonna say they it was more like after the Omega night match when the build up for All In. They had the last three matches really were the biggest parts of the pay-per-view because you had Andrade beating Mark Davis and Willow beating Tekla, and it was like uh, you know, uh, I'm still kind of shaking my head about Tekla. I guess maybe next week we'll get Rob back and get his thoughts on how they can eliminate one of the hottest things that was going on in the company. Unless they're sticking with the quote unquote plan. But I mean, I don't have a problem with Willow versus Mercedes.
No,
That
I don't have a problem with that match either.
yeah,
But Tekla deserves a spot for all
yeah.
the work she's done.
And then of course she does have the trios belts, the CMLL is it, no no Stardom, sorry, the trios belts. So maybe they could do that. I'm sure Tekla will be there, but yeah. So one other thing about that pay-per-view is I read about this. Apparently, the Rougeaus were honored before the pay-per-view started, and they there was some problems with them being honored because I guess they brought their own video recap that they wanted to show, and when the guys from the from AEW looked at it, there was like, well, there was licensed material for other companies on it. There was AI uh, graphics, and then Jacques apparently lost his mind about it. And so we've heard a lot of stories about Jacques Rougeau and like the love-hate relationship with wrestlers as well as people. But apparently in Montreal, he got booed when they came out. They still honored him, but they just didn't get what he wanted. So, and they had to threaten to throw him out of the place because he was throwing a fit because they wouldn't use his video. So it's like it's just, I guess, par for course when it comes to Jacques Rougeau being, kind of like, I mean, I think it's Kevin Owens who is like the guy who won't say anything nice about him because of some of the things he's did to the guys training or taking advantage of training young guys and stuff. But I thought that was interesting because it was happy that they were going to, honor them, and then you find out what happened after, and it's like, oh, they're probably regretting it.
Well, that's on AEW too, because you're a professional organization. In what way would you think it's appropriate for you not to be in control of your production?
Yeah,
Or at least not be put in a position where, hey, you need to get this to us, X amount of days in advance.
yeah. I'm guessing they just showed up with it, to be honest with you, and they're like, we want to. Can you run this before we come out? And they're like, no, no, and I would like to see it though now. I hope they post it someplace. I would like to see because they said it was one too long. Two, they were using licensed material from other places, maybe music or something. And they said three, there was AI all over it. So, maybe I'll be happy if AEW is anti AI because AI. A lot of people are like turning their backs onto it now because it's just silly. I see so much AI stuff on like the messages
Those
or on the social.
damn flyers.
Oh my God. I have friends of mine who live on AI stuff when they put up messages. It's like, don't do that. That just looks terrible. You don't look that good, dude. Okay. I'm just saying that, it's like,
Although, to be fair, I did see a great AI video this morning of Hulk Hogan going to the hospital to visit Mitch McConnell.
is Mitch McConnell in the hospital or is he in the morgue?
He's in a freezer somewhere.
You know, oh man. So that was AEW Redemption, and it was that was last week. And then you know what? I gotta kind of understand maybe why it was kind of thrown together, just because it was new this year. It wasn't
You know
really,
what it was, Cash?
but
It was AEW's version of Fastlane
there you
or
go. Yeah,
Roadblock or whatever it is that the obligatory pay-per-view prior to your biggest show of the year
yeah. It's
that
serious.
you're
And
not putting too much effort into because you're
yeah,
looking down the road.
you can't change the card of the big show, so you gotta like work around it. Yeah, but it's like yeah, that's crazy. That's so funny. But I will say that it is you know, I kind of suspected that when it was announced so late that they actually were adding that paid date and everything. And so it's like, okay. So, and you can play around with like minor titles, like the TNT title or the TBS title or the Continental Championship or whatever. All these different by the way, they have this new Continental tourney going on right now. I'll talk about that.
Continental Cup.
Yeah, Continental Cup, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, so the I'll give him a buy on it because it was the first year and everything, and it was like maybe next year when they're plotting out how they want to build up a all in that maybe they can maybe use that as a more of a stepping stone to getting there than using it as a let's have another pay-per-view before the big one, because we're got to get one a month, right? Is that how it goes? One a month,
Uh, the-
life was
let's
better.
just move on. Look forward to All In.
Yeah, life was better when there was like a pay-per-view every 2 or 3 months. And it's never going to happen that way. There's too much money they feel being left on the table. So, but kudos to them. I get it. They did it, and it was in Montreal, a famous site. So, heads, we're going to talk a little bit about SummerSlam, which is this weekend, starting tonight, in fact. SummerSlam. Uh, this is, I feel bad because, like I said, I was watching SmackDown last night, and they're still giving the $25 seats. So,
I don't feel bad.
yeah, well, I don't feel that bad because they want to do 2 nights. Yes, they'll sell a lot more at $25 a ticket, but I'll tell you one thing: if I paid $700 and there's a guy sitting next to me that paid 25, I'm gonna go take my $700 ticket back and buy a $25 ticket or something, because I think that it's like I think that's one thing that TKO is learning is you can't outprice your fans, and that's what they've been doing. They've been doing it for a year now. I'm sure, they can brag all they want at these press conferences talking about the last quarter and everything, but they make the most money out of anything out of licensing their characters and things like that.
We
So
had a record-breaking gate. Yeah, because you were charging $300 for the nosebleeds.
yeah, So it's going on this weekend, and I'll briefly go through and run down what matches are going on what day. And one thing I'm surprised is they kind of reshuffled things this past week because I was assuming it was going to be Punk and Cody in the main event on Sunday, but it's not. It's going to be Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins at the main event on Sunday. So Punk and Cody are the main event on tonight, Saturday night. But this is what you're going to get. They have it looks like 1, 2, 3, it looks like 7 or 6 matches announced for each night. Tonight you're going to get Fatal Influence versus Brie Bella, Nikki Bella, and Paige in a 6-woman tag. We have LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys. And by the way, Solo Sikoa is getting over as a face, and WWE has given up on trying to make him a heel. So he is now, from now on, he's on the face side. And he, I don't know why. I mean, he was like fighting against Roman Reigns and, Roman's Reigns, the bloodline and everything. And I think I was talking last week. You were still here when they have these tweeners going on in like the main events in fact, like Reigns and Seth Rollins both get cheered, both get booed, neither of them pulled a heel move. Maybe just Seth Rollins did, if anything, but it was like, but he's also the underdog. You got Punk and Cody, face or heel. It depends on where you are, but both of them, so I think you're confusing the audience because you're really splitting the fandom of the fake good guys, and it's like, I think I feel, I don't know, maybe it's my philosophy is incorrect, but I always feel you need a solid heel and a good face for a good matchup, especially in a main event. And both these main events of this weekend are both tweeners going on. And so that's why it kind of reminded me when I saw Solo Sikoa, it's because the crowd dictated that he was a face, even though, he was kind of fighting against Jacob Fatu, who was a face too, so it's like, I think that their creative is in a really bad spot right now. And I've seen so many people piling on how bad their creative's been. I'm not going to do it anymore because I think that just the numbers, I mean, they've if you look at their Netflix numbers, they've dropped a bit, and they're not going up. They're going down, if anything. And Netflix, I mean, as much would they pay $5 billion to be able to put the Monday Night Raw on Netflix? It's not a good investment for them so far. Bad enough that we have to pay for Netflix and we get commercials at the same time. It's going to happen tonight too when we're watching on ESPN. whatever it's called, the ESPN app, when we're watching the pay-per-view and we're getting commercials in between them. But it's a new world. So let me get back to the card. So we got LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys versus Jimmy J, and Jacob. So in a 6-man tag match. So well, I guess that's up in the air. Who's the face and who's the heel? Obviously, LA Knight's always a face. You can't make him a heel. People won't let it happen because he does this thing. L, hey, hey. People like
That's what
playing.
happens when you don't listen to the crowd and you just do what you want.
Yeah, well, it's someone's gonna someday when Triple H is fired, I mean, every job you get hired and then you either leave or you get fired, and it will happen. It happens to everybody. It happens to managers in football and baseball. It's great when they get hired, but someday they're going to be fired, and the same thing is going to happen with Triple H. And when he does get fired, someone's going to say, "Why'd you never put a belt on LA Knight?" Because the guy is over, and that's what this how this company this how this. I know he is not the greatest wrestler in the world. And you can go through and find YouTube highlight reels of LA Knight making goofs in matches and stuff, which is a shame because everybody does a goof every once in a while. Ask Jay Uso, okay? And he's still getting pushed to the moon. But LA Knight, someday when Triple H is fired, he'll say, well, why did you never put the belt on him? Because he was over more than anybody else on your roster for a while. And it's oh yeah, Pat's on. He said I got last night Senate SmackDown. I'll talk about that in a minute, Pat. But Julia just oh man, she was like the big free agent, and I don't know what they did to her last night, but she nevertheless. So we got Gunther versus Nick Aldis. Now I like Nick Aldis because he's been on the show many times, and it's kind of a real heel and a real face. There we go. We're not going to play tweeners on anybody. It's a guy. Mickey James's husband. We got Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the women's world championship. Poor Io Sky's been jobbed out of that for a while now. I hope it doesn't happen that way again. But got
Correct
Lesnar
me if
versus
I'm wrong. Isn't this Liv's first title defense since winning the title?
it is, and she won it at WrestleMania. So against Io Sky, I believe, right? I think that's who she beat.
I don't even know because I didn't watch.
Yeah. So we got Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi in a Hell in a Cell match, which they're waiting till the end because it's just a mess to bring down and put back up and everything. And then Punk versus Cody Rhodes in the main event tonight. And then someone posted, I think Cody's going heel. That's what Pat said. He'd like Cody to go heel. And they both have been pulling these little bitty heel baby things, but it's like nobody's done a definitive move that way. And it's like, poor Punk. I feel, I hate to say poor Punk, but he's always on the losing end when it comes to like these marquee matchups. He lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Is he going to lose to Cody Rhodes? I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, but that's tonight. And then tomorrow night we got Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio in a Human Monies on a pole match. Human Monies. So if you watch, guys, I know you guys love Danhausen. I'm sorry, but that was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen him involved in on Monday night with him and Joe Hendry doing a concert. And he's sitting around like a pipe organ in the middle of the ring. It was terrible. It was, oh my goodness. I feel that they're milking him for every penny they can get, and they're veering off his path. And that's a veer. He's not a musician. He's Danhausen, He showed up last night in SmackDown too with his mini Danhausens again. But he's not, you don't need to do a concert. You're trying to work Joe Henry into it. Poor Joe Henry. Poor Joe Henry is not long for WWE. They loved him, signed him, and then dropped the ball completely with Joe Henry.
Can we talk about like the string of fumbles they've had? So you just mentioned Julia getting squashed in 4 minutes last night.
2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay,
Last
so
legend. Yeah.
they've dropped the ball on her. They're dropping the ball on Joe Hendry. What the hell did they do to Jordan Grace?
I know it's a good question. She got hurt right before WrestleMania, and they had plans for her, but because she had like I think it was an a severe ankle sprain. She's not shown up since. She's not been back since. That's a shame because they like I said, they had plans for her. So it's sad, it's like, yeah, I feel bad because she posts all the time. I'm at home with my dogs, my husband just came home from a weekend away, yeah, I feel, yeah, she definitely, they definitely are, it's like, and it's like, you sign someone to a year contract and it's, or like a 3-year contract. If you don't get them when you think they're hot, you got to go through a whole process to build them up again. That's a long process with someone who like you might not remember now because it's been 6 months, or whatever, since WrestleMania, since April.
Joe Hendry was white hot, white hot,
Yeah.
and
Tim
now
says
he's
they don't believe
doing
in,
music
yeah,
segments with Danhausen
yeah. They
and
don't
getting
believe in Joe
getting attacked by a MAGA racist boxer.
Is that who that guy is? Garcia? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if he's involved with WWE, you know he has to be a POS because they have no shame anymore.
It's amazing when a guy who's going to fight in a huge boxing match is fighting wrestlers the 2 weeks before his huge boxing match. I don't get that. It's like there was a time in the world where you would never cross over because wrestling was predetermined. Nobody, they would, why would you want to be involved in something, the clown show coming to town and stuff? And this guy is in the front row, jumps out and gets involved in a match. It's like,
I had to look up who this person was.
yeah, I don't follow
I
boxing.
I thought
So
that was kind of the opposite effect you wanted when someone appears in
yeah,
the, you know,
if he's gonna run into the ring and start
if
beating
you have to
people up,
explain who it is and why we should care, maybe it's not the best idea.
well, it's TKO has a lot of control over this product now. That's what I'm scared of. Is they're insisting on things, and that had to have been one because this guy's in the main event of a boxing match being promoted by TKO Boxing. You know, yeah, it was like, yeah. When that's the funny thing is I don't know who that guy was when it happened. It's like they showed him earlier when they were doing the stars in the crowd, and it's like I don't know who he was then when they were doing that. So.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So, and I know I've got Rennie in the chat room, and I know Rennie loves Danhausen. And listen, Danhausen's great, but I think when they start messing with Danhausen, it won't end great. And it's like, and it's because we got a hot topic, we got a hot priority. Let's start using them for all this other stuff, and then you get over inundated with Danhausen. And I listen, Danhausen probably feels it too, but he probably doesn't have much say because, he signed as a talent, and it's like, but he's wrestling he's going to be on a human monies on a pole match to give back apparently $15,000 that he was given to by Dominic Mysterio, to curse somebody. And,
Somewhere, Vince Russo is just smirking.
yeah, and you think Vince McMahon is probably crying in his hands, It's like, what is going on? Yeah, and I feel, and the thing is, Triple H gets all the credit in the world and then gets all the hate in the world, and he's been living with both of it a lot. And this
And
guy,
then goes on WWE radio and complains that the fans are criticizing creative.
yeah, don't boo me, boo the bad guys. Oh man, Triple H, it sounds like you are at the end of your rope, brother, by doing, yeah, WWE radio.
Hey, but at least he made an appearance at the weigh-in.
Yeah, because that's so important in the world of wrestling. There's so many old tropes that need to be thrown out. That's one of them, you know.
You've had Rey Mysterio fight the Great Khali. I really don't think you care about weight classes in professional wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. This is not UFC. I said everything depends on the kilogram of weight that you might be over when it comes to a fight you're getting into. WWE, it means nothing, and then it really didn't mean anything anyways because they didn't do it when they because they brought the cage down. And Brock Lesnar wouldn't be weighed. He said, "I'm not." He goes, "I'll tell you what my weight is," and then he wouldn't get in, And so then Noble Femi beat up cops for a couple of minutes. So it's like I don't know if, if you started beating up police officers, they used to like live in the world of reality. You would get arrested. Remember, sometimes they would have wrestlers get arrested for like assaulting security or cops, and he's
You
done
remember
it.
the one time they had Roman Reigns attack federal marshals?
Yeah. 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 And these guys were all taken out in cuffs, and not to Obafemi. He just beat them up and was allowed to. So, that was crazy. So this guy Pat says, "Pay all this money for WWE and you get garbage." Well, it's been happening. It was good. It was a while ago, but it's like it's just we've seen it. So we just seen it kind of like dwindle down into like the lowest common denominator. Remember
I
Vince
mean, and
McMahon?
that's a side effect of your business model now, relying on these deals you do for your content.
Yeah.
Oh, they paid us 10 billion for the next 5 years. Okay, we can just do whatever we want now.
Yeah, I don't know if they're now Pat says I don't they're just letting AEW take over as number one.
There's no pressure to put out good content. There's just pressure to put out content.
Yeah, I don't it will be impossible for anybody to overtake WWE, I think, unless they were like doing what WCW did was know they were going to lose many weeks in a row going head to head with them and eventually knew their creative would be able to overtake WWE. I don't think AEW is ready to do that. They're not ready to be number one, but I'll tell you one thing,
They are the best
wrestling.
wrestling
Yes, yeah.
promotion out there.
That's what the Motor City Machine Gun said on Collision. That he goes, and he's right because Motor City Machine Guns got those 3-minute tag matches before the shows would start, and so you'd never see them on TV, and they would just be warming the crowd up. So yeah, but it's yeah. See, Brenny even agreed with the feeling bad for Danhausen. I feel bad for him too. Hopefully, they don't do anything like that again. Poor Joe Henry. It's like, man. Yeah, I just feel terrible for that guy because he had to wait and wait and wait and wait. And then it's like that's when Danhausen came, was when Joe Henry was waiting still, and still another guy who got put on TV 100 times more than he did. And now he's not, you're right. He won't be there very long, which is sad because they just fumbled him immensely. And that was a Shawn Michaels. He loved him. I think Shawn Michaels was the reason he got brought over, had him on NXT. And then they called him up, and it was like,
He got one of the biggest pops of a WrestleMania weekend as a TNA talent.
yeah, taking on Randy Orton. Yeah, Randy
Yeah,
Orton. Yeah, yeah. It was there's some craziness going on. So Tim says there's been a lot of shocking or unexpected turns or storylines in WWE. I mean, the biggest turns haven't happened yet because the main events, I won't, let me continue on with this card. So we got Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor, and whoever wins that gets the number one contendership for the WWE Championship. Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin for the U.S. Championship. Baron Corbin's back 2 weeks. He's on a pay-per-view already. He's taking on Trick Williams for the U.S. Championship. You've got Penta versus Chad Gable for the IC title. And I think Chad Gable being from Minnesota, I'm guessing there's a chance he probably will win that. I've got a 5-way ladder match on Sunday for the interim WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair, and then last night, that's where Lash Legend got the 2-minute win over Julia on SmackDown to be put into this 5-way ladder match. And listen, I have a lot of respect for Trick Williams and Lash Legend. Yes, they're married now. Yes, I didn't give them a benefit. I didn't give them much credence. And then I watched the Unreal show and realized that they're really good people. I mean, and Lash Legends play basketball. She was like, she's very tall for a woman, and they're God-fearing folks. I like them a lot, but I have this is also that they can take on Rhea Ripley when she's back from her MCL tear or whatever it was. So, and then we got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'll be honest with you, I'd much rather see CM Punk and Cody Rhodes in the main event of Sunday night than see Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins because, they've been telling these stories and then people have been going back and showing how many times Roman Reigns has beaten Seth Rollins in the past when Seth Rollins said Roman Reigns can never beat him. And it's like, you got to be careful, man. There's a lot of video out there that can prove you wrong on anything you do in wrestling. And, so I don't care, I don't, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how people feel about Roman Reigns. Is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Is Seth Rollins a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Seth Rollins started as a bad guy, kind of got cheered because people like playing sing along with his song, but so that's Sunday night. And of course, both of them are being streamed on ESPN Unlimited, as they call it, and Netflix internationally. And they both start at 6. So they'll be both on ESPN, I believe, at 6 o'clock. You could see the first hour, I believe. I'm not sure. I didn't say it for, yeah, ESPN was rolling that on their little roll at the bottom saying that you could watch the first hour for free, but I will give them credit in one thing. There's 6 matches on each night. So it will not go into the middle of next week. Pat saying give Chelsea Green the title. Chelsea Green is great. Chelsea Green gets injured and still is used on TV through the injuries. Hurt her ankle, broke her nose. In fact, last Monday night we had. I thought that was really interesting. Is Raquel Rodriguez? Um, she beat Sol Ruca, who was the intercontinental champion, the women's intercontinental championship. But Sol Ruca hit her right in the nose and broke her nose like 2 minutes into the match, and she wrestled the rest of the match with her nose just being a bloody mess, and ended up getting the win at the end. Which that was, I thought that that the perseverance. I'll give her a lot of credit. Obviously, Raquel Rodriguez is one of the biggest women in the WWE, height wise and everything, and obviously, but she did break her nose pretty bad. I love to see Chelsea Green do something with that. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, Chelsea Green is definitely a bonus. She was on obviously the Unreal stuff as well. So if you got the chance to watch that,
That Royal Rumble pitch for her would have been fantastic.
I'm trying to remember, what was the Royal Rumble? It was
The pitch was to have Chelsea be number 30, but before she even has her timer countdown, 28 and 29 eliminate each other. So she just enters at 30 and wins.
Oh yeah, as much as as much as that is innovative, it also is so unexciting,
But it would be new and fresh.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see at some point.
I would rather have seen that than Charlotte win again.
I would love to see some, like in the Royal Rumble, everybody take each other out before the next people come in. So they come in and it's an empty ring, it's like, hey, and then they got to wait around for 2 minutes, because they've done that, but they rarely do that because they know it's boring when you're waiting 2 minutes for someone to come in. So that's the SummerSlam. That's going to be this weekend. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to get together and eat some pizza and watch it as well. It'll be a blast. And I think that, I don't know. I think we're going to have some more definitive and heels by the end of the pay-per-view. I would hope so, at least, because I think, I don't know. I think that's part of the problem with creative is when they don't, they don't want to pull the trigger on someone going heel, who's making a lot of merchandise sales. And when you're a WWE wrestler and you're a face and you make a lot of merchandise sales, you don't want to rock the boat in the least. John Cena would never, he did not want to lose all that merchandise money that he would get being a face. So that's why he always turned down whenever they wanted him to maybe do something heelish. I don't know, but it's like, hopefully we'll get some sort of definitive heel face thing going on there. So I'm going to jump into some of the news right now before we get out of here. We're not going to go too long today, because I got to mow the lawn and do some stuff. So, but tonight on, if you're going to watch, or actually this week on Dynamite, they've already got the whole card set out, because it is going to be in Mexico City. And it's going to be at least 2.5 hours. And by the way, I got caught off with the, last week. I was like, why is it still going? It was 10:30 and they were still doing Dynamite. It was, and that there is said they do kind of post when they're going long on social media. So they are definitely going long this week at, what do they call it? It's what they get the special name for the Dynamite this week?
Grand Slam Mexico.
Grand Slam Mexico. So you got obviously Kyle Fletcher and Mike Bailey for the AEW International Championship. That's going to be like the main event, I'm guessing. Got Ricochet, Leona, and Bishop Khan. They are the trios champions, taking on Hangman Page, Bandito, and Brody King. And I think Brody King's kind of turning into a comedy face, because he keeps having these great lines during promos. Definitely on Collision, he definitely had the best line of the night. You've got AEW Women's Champ Willow, Jamie Hayter, and Alex Windsor versus Mercedes Moné and the AEW Tag Team Champs Megan Bain and Lena Cross. You got Will Ospreay versus Mark Davis in a Mexican City street fight. No one allowed out ringside. Got Andrade versus Commander versus Ciampa in a triple threat for the first entry into the Casino Gauntlet match that All In. Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus Moxley, Pax, Wheeler Yuta, and Daniel Garcia. CML Women's Champ Persephone versus Chris Statlander, non-title. We saw Persephone last week as well. And Mystico, Darby Allin, and Chris Jericho versus Kazuchika Okada, Kevin Knight, and Hensero. So it's going to be live, obviously, 8 o'clock on TBS. And the show is listed as running 2.5 hours. So you definitely want to check that out. I'm sure it'll probably go longer. It says 2.5 hours. It'll probably go knowing them, but some other news. This is probably not a spoiler. Maybe it is, but Kevin Owens has been seen in Minneapolis ahead of WWE Summerslam. Former champions in town before the biggest event of the year, and they were waiting for his long-awaited return to television. He's been on LFG, so he's definitely been on TV, but not been wrestling. So it's been over a year. It's before WrestleMania last year that he went out. So hoping that's a good sign. I mean, he's been at other places before too. So, but reports earlier indicate that both Owens and Randy Orton are expected back in WWE imminently. And that's probably a good thing. So check that. So maybe keep your eyes open. They debuted Haku on SmackDown last night. He is now Haku is now got a party. He's leading the MFTs because that obviously it's his son is one of them. And he's going to be coming out, and they came out and attacked Damian Priest and R-Truth and the War Raiders last night after their match. And so Haku's going to be like the inspirational leader for the MFTs now. And so he's got a job with WWE for a while. Interesting. ESPN announced this past week that on their app, their unlimited app, they're now going to be showing CW Sports. So that means you'll be able to watch NXT now on ESPN Unlimited, but not immediately. It's not starting until August 4th. That'll be the very first time they're going to show anything, and that'll be the 2-hour NXT live event on Tuesday this week. So that's when it starts. So then there's a lot of people that haven't been able to see NXT because they don't have cable, and they don't have now. If they have the unlimited, they can. So something else you can watch now besides WWE pay-per-views. So check it out. DC, you saw Santana came out with a new name this week, huh? Cruz Montana.
Oof.
Yeah. I gotta own the name, huh? Gotta own
I don't know why they make exceptions for some people.
Yeah,
I don't.
well, AJ Styles, I mean, went right to the main card, right to Raw and SmackDown immediately. He's going through NXT, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I mean, Joe Henry came in as Joe Henry, and he was in TNA, so maybe it's something he couldn't negotiate. We'll sign you, but we got to give you our name,
Then how I love that they always default to, we know people are going to crap on this name, so let's make sure it has a personal tie to the person.
And he did explain it, and I did not see what his explanation was. So
It's something about his grandfather and the name Montana, I believe. But then, okay, you know what sounds better than Cruz Montana? Montana Cruz.
There you go. How about Cruz Santana?
Something. I don't know.
Yeah, so,
Then I did see someone joking, like, are they going to name his finishing move the Bruise Cruise?
well, it's on to some other news. Yeah, interesting. Club WWE is officially now active. Now you might remember they did right before WrestleMania. They mentioned the Club WWE, and it's coming soon. And so now it's coming. This is what you get if you pay $99 for a year. I think that's what it costs. It's $99 annually. These are the benefits of being part of Club WWE. You get a premium welcome kit available for a limited time. So it means you get your money to him now, and you get a personal note from John Cena. So very interesting.
Right.
Yeah. Membership only. You get WWE shop. You can buy things. You can spend more of your money. Not only did you spend $99, but you can spend more of your money with them at their members only shop. You've got early access to tickets for select WWE events. So you can pay the highest price ticket and get the closest seat that you'll regret sometime later when someone buys one for $25 sitting next to you. Premium content library. So this is where their library is going. This is one benefit of it. Okay, I'll give them this. you can't really watch a lot of their premium content or their content library anymore because it's all gone. It was part of Peacock. Peacock shut it off as soon as the Peacock contract ran out. So there's no WWE network out there anymore. So except for this WWE, this great WWE great deal, Club WWE. So you can get the premium content. You also get live match chats, giving fans a dedicated second screen experience during WWE programming. I'm not sure. I can't wait to see the videos from all that stuff. And then we have Club WWE Rewards, allows members to earn points through purchases, of course, as well as by logging in, watching content, participating in live chats, and playing games with points redeemable for exclusive rewards and experiences. Remember when they used to have the WWE? I don't remember what it was, but they used to have like the fantasy league on their online. DC, you remember that?
I don't actually.
They used to have a fantasy league, and you could pick wrestlers, and and they would tally points. It was really a cool idea. It was like over 20 years ago, and we used to do it. We all did it. We all, you'd have like a stable of wrestlers, and if they won, you'd get points, and you make predictions, and it was a good deal, and it cost nothing back then. You really didn't get anything, to be honest with you, but it was like them, creating a fantasy wrestling and you could find it'd be like how we used to do we do it with Mike DeGiorgio, the 10 weeks at a time and stuff. So they do but they aren't doing anything like that. So I don't care. So it builds on Club WWE builds on WWE's commitment to creating deeper connections with fans by rewarding engagement both inside and outside the ring. Members will continue to receive new benefits, experiences, and exclusive content throughout the year. Fans in the U.S. can join today at www.com/club WWE for $99 annually or $8.25 a month across the year. So there you go. That's something that was a big deal about them. So some other news, I'm going to keep moving. The support for Rebel Heart from all AEW continues. AEW issued a press release on Monday to announce a special AEW Rebel Heart Dynamite on September 9th in Athens, Georgia. TNA had a shout out to Rebel this week too, because Rebel is going through some hard medical issues right now, and needs help and is getting it. And all that's why they're doing the challenge. That's why they're doing the ALS challenge, because Rebel was diagnosed with ALS. So you see a lot of people. Tony Khan did the challenge. I saw, a wet Tony Khan, drippy doopy. He was all drippy and everything. So
Old choice to wear the white shirt for that.
Yeah. So here's something cool. This is another extended beyond AEW is they introduced their my AEW streaming service. I don't know, about 6 months ago, was it? Ads free professional wrestling content available at myaew.com. They just signed up a bunch of independent organizations that are going to be putting content on there. If you're a fan of any of these ones, you can see their content on myaew.com. United Wrestling Network, which includes Memphis Sunday Night Slam, Hollywood Championship Wrestling, and New York's Gotham Wrestling. They've got Metroplex Wrestling from Dallas Fort Worth. They have Pro Wrestling Eve from London, Revolution Pro Wrestling from London, West Side Extreme Wrestling, that's WXW from Germany. There's a WXW in Pennsylvania too. And AML Wrestlecade Entertainment from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So those guys, all their shows are being added to my AEW. Of course, Sunday, August 30th, you can see All In there as well. So it's a neat little streaming way to, you can promote your own company. Not sure. I haven't really looked at it yet, but I'm definitely going to go take a peek into it and see what it's like. Montreal, let's see. Mandy Rose and Tino Sabatelli have officially welcomed their first child into the world. Mandy Rose had not posted much pictures during her pregnancy, but she just had, they didn't, let's see. They said they have a new addition. They didn't give much details about it, but congratulations. It's their first child. I'd love to see Mandy Rose back in the ring. I mean, her girls are wrestling on the Summerslam this weekend. That's right. Fatal Influence was her group when she was sent down to NXT. So congratulations. And I think I went through everything. I got everything out of the way pretty much. Well, I went really fast. I apologize for that. We didn't really get too deep into much, but We do got a busy week. Like I said, this week's AEW Dynamite Live from Mexico is going on, and you got SummerSlam this weekend. Do you see anything else that I missed that we should talk about? I know there's a lot of terrible things going on in this world, but hopefully
Yeah,
not.
let's ignore those.
Yeah, let's just for this week. So on that note, we're going to get out of here. I want to thank you guys for in the chat room. I didn't keep you too long, and don't forget SummerSlam. I believe goes live at 6 o'clock tonight, so don't tune in late. I don't know if any of this there's any pre-shows or anything, but yeah, I'm praying for Danhausen, okay, because I hope they don't burn him out because you can only ride that horse so long before it breaks down. And but good for him. He's a dude who like as Rob Sanderson used to say, he couldn't be taken advantage of in AEW, but WWE is certainly his cup of tea when it comes to going to doing what he does best, which is curse people and do funny things backstage and everything. And also this week we're going to see Big Cass return. They even called his name, was it Cade Cassidy or something like that? I think that they announced him coming back this week. So then unfortunately I think we're going to get Enzo back too. So I mean, with the good, everything happens bad too.
Real
So,
one?
yeah, maybe, who knows? Yeah, real one, whatever he is. So guys, thank you. We'll see you next week. Enjoy SummerSlam. We'll probably have plenty to talk next week. DC, thank you so much. We'll